Hello, it's Grandma Karen. Now that you've chosen the correct chair and table for sewing, we will begin to look at all the different knobs and buttons on your sewing machine. For the first few lessons, you will see that there are several videos. The first one is a generic video covering all machines. The rest are for specific Bernina machines that my grandchildren have. The videos are meant for ages 10 and older and are meant to be done with a mentor, grandparent, aunt, friend, sibling. There is usually a mentor's note at the end of the video. In this video, we will be looking at the Bernina 335. This is the manual or guidebook for the machine. It has details about all the things I am showing you. If you have questions, check your guidebook. I put large paper clips on the pages that are important. For example, this page labels the parts of your machine. If you do not have a manual, ask your local Bernina dealer if they can get one for you. There are also many manuals for older machines online. The download is often free or has a small cost. You can also print out the worksheet downloads listed under the video and draw on and label your machine. These are my attempt at labeling my machine. This little metal stud is the slide-on table socket. We will talk about it in a few minutes. There is also one on the front of the machine. This silver lever is the presser foot lifter. This is the presser foot. When you start to sew, you put the presser foot down to hold the fabric as it goes through the machine. When you get to the end of your sewing, you put the presser foot up. This presser foot lifter is how you put the presser foot down and up. This is the throat of the machine. You reach through with your right hand, and then that's how you put this up and down. We'll talk about presser feet in our next lesson. This is the presser foot clamping lever. It is much smaller than the presser foot lifter. It is how you put on or take off the presser foot. We will practice attaching and removing the presser foot in the next lesson. Under the presser foot are the feed dog. They look like little teeth. This is the rear thread guide. Let's look at the right side of the machine. This is the power plug socket right there where you plug the cord in. This is the foot control, or we call it the foot pedal. You'll put this foot pedal on the floor with your foot on it to make it go, kind of like a gas in your car. If you turn it over, you'll see that here is the cord, and you would unwind it all the way before you put it on the floor. This is where you plug the foot socket into, right there. And then this will go on the floor. If you have a small brother or sister, be sure to turn off or unplug your machine. If they push on this pedal, they might hurt themselves as the needle goes up and down. If you have a pet, they may burn out the motor if they sit on this foot control for too long. When you put your machine away, be sure to wind up the cord on the back. Try not to wind it too tightly. Just above the power cord socket is the on and off switch, or the power switch. There is a line and a circle on the switch. When you press the line, the machine is on. You can see this light turns on and it makes a small noise as the needle moves into position. When you press the circle, the machine is turned off. The white square-like button is called the feed drop button. Remember that the feed dog looks like little teeth under the needle. Sometimes we just call it the feed. It works with the presser foot to push the fabric through the machine. The photo on the left shows the feed dog up and working to push the fabric through the machine. The photo on the right shows the feed dog dropped. It won't push the fabric through the machine. This photo shows two symbols. The red arrow on the left points to the symbol for regular sewing. The feed dog is up and working. The symbol looks like a straight stitch and a zigzag. The green arrow on the right points to the symbol for darning or dropping the feed dog. This symbol means the fabric won't feed through the machine. Let's look at the drop feed button again. If you press the button in, it will stay pressed in. The feed dog is dropped. Your fabric will not feed through the machine if this is pressed in. Press the button again and it pops back out. This is how it should be when you begin sewing. If your machine is not sewing correctly, look at the drop feed button and make sure it is popped out. If you look closely, you can see the sewing and darning symbols next to the button. This is the hand wheel. It's part of the system that makes the needle go up and down. and makes the threads form stitches. When you press the foot control, it will spin around. It goes pretty fast, so try to keep your hands away from it when it's moving. Sometimes you will move the hand wheel with your hands instead of with your foot control. When you turn the hand wheel with your hands, you need to turn the top towards you, not away. The needle will go up and down if you turn it away from you, but it won't make a stitch. We'll talk about the reverse button in a later video. This is the vertical collapsible spool pin. It swings up when needed. It has a spool of pink thread on it right now. Notice that there's a red felt under the spool. This helps keep the spool from jumping off and rolling away. It also prevents the noise, a little bit of the excess noise when the spool is spinning. When I put it away, I take off the thread and I just put the pin down when I'm not using it. Especially when I put the machine away. You don't want this up because it can break easily. This other spool pin with the black thread on it is the horizontal spool pin. It has a piece of foam that goes in first. It doesn't have the red felt. It also needs a spool cap or spool disc to keep the spool from coming off. We'll learn about these different spool pins in our later video. This is the balance dial. It is used to make some types of stitches closer together or farther apart. We will be doing straight stitches and won't be using the dial very often. I have marked the 3 little stitch settings near the dial with blue chalk so you can see them. When you start to sew, make sure that the black dot on the dial is pointing to the center setting. Now let's look at the left side of the machine. This is the thread cutter, this little thing right there. And to cut a thread, you just hold the thread between both your hands and you pull down and it cuts it. This is the slide-on table that came with your machine. It gives you more space to rest your fabric on. There is a button right here that you will push when we release this when we take it off your machine. To put it on, make sure that the presser foot and the needle are in the up position. You may have to use your hand wheel to make sure that needle is up. And you're going to take this and you're going to slide it on here, and you're going to try to keep it as close, as flat as you can as you're putting it on with the bed of the machine, and you just push all the way to the right. And then it snaps in place and rests on those studs that we showed you. So to remove the table, make sure again that the presser foot and the needle are in the up position. Press on this, and then you're going to pull it, trying to keep it flat so it doesn't get caught underneath the foot, and just slide it off. Make sure that when you store your table that it's not on the floor, that you don't want anyone to step on it. And this, when you don't have the slide-on table on, is called the free arm. For your homework, you need to show your teacher, your parent, or mentor that you understand and can do the following things. You can pause the video or take a photo of the homework. 1. Plug in the machine and the foot control. Show how to put away the foot control. 2. Turn the hand wheel back and forth and see the needle go up and down. Tell your mentor which way you turn the hand wheel if you are using your hand to turn the hand wheel. 3. Make sure the feed dog button is not pressed in. 4. Flip the vertical spool pin up and then back down for storing. 5. Make sure the balance dial points to the center dot. 6. Lower and raise the presser foot lifter a few times by putting your right hand through the throat of the machine. 7. Cut a thread with the cutter on the left side of the machine. And 8. Remove and attach the slide-on table. In our next video, we will learn more about presser feet and how to use your hands when you're sewing. See you next time. Here's a note for the mentor. Become familiar with the different buttons on your student's machine. Help them find a manual and look at the pages that show the parts of the machine. If there is no manual, print out the worksheets in the link below the video, or make a photo or rough drawing of the machine and label the parts we talked about today.